That's why when we would read official UN documents calling for world government, the media would say we were nuts, it didn't exist, because they could never admit that there was an illegitimate shadow global corporate government, because then people would stop being distracted by the puppets and actually start having a debate about the real power structure. And now that people know there's a global government, now that it's admitted we're going into world government, now more and more whistleblowers are coming out exposing them. I mean, we got a long, hard road to follow here, but at the end of it, we're going to beat these people.
We are, and we're going to get our country back. And it is going to be nasty, and they do have the ability to take the economy down any time they feel like it. And so if we challenge them and they lose, they are going to take it down, but it's going to go down anyway. And it should have went down in the first place. That's classical economics. We don't stand around and allow the Fed Reserve or the likes of it to do what they've done. We take the economy down. In 2021, we had the same situation, and the president just walked away and said, look, let it take its course. And it did. And we were out of the recession in a year. And it boomed during the 20s, of course, too much. And then, of course, the Fed pulled the plug again. And this is all rigged. It's all contrived to make gazillions of dollars for these people and ensconce them greater power.
But they've clearly overplayed their hand this time, because resistance to them is just mounting.
Well, that's why we got to keep on hammering on. And that's like with yourself and myself. We went, hammer and tong after that climate gate. And it was a tremendous issue. I mean, I'm getting on stations I would have never got on before. Fox emailed me and asked me to go on. We had Rush and O'Reilly use tapes of mine from the shows that I've been on the air. I mean, they're trying to capture the flavor of the thing so they can continue to get their ratings, and the ratings aren't there for them. They're falling off in their ratings, and that's why they're doing that. And, Alex, you pointed that out before.
Well, absolutely. The founder of the Tea Parties, the guy that actually started it to be nonpartisan, anti-Federal Reserve, he went on Fox, of all places, and said Glenn Beck and the fake Republicans have hijacked our movement. And then Jesse Ventura's new TV show gets the highest ratings True TV's ever had.
And it should. All Jesse's doing is say, hey, look at this. This is the truth. This is the way it is. And this is all the people want. Tell us the truth and which direction we should go.
Well, folks, there is some positive things happening, but we're not out of the woods yet, as they say. The woods are lovely, dark, and deep, but we've got miles to go before we sleep. In fact, somebody pull up that poem for me. The woods are lovely, dark, and deep, but I have miles to go before I sleep. I want to read that poem later. Bob, I want to take some calls. They're all over the map from earlier, but you can comment on any issue. Let's talk to Jake in California. Jake, you're on the air.
Hey, man. I'm enjoying the program this morning. I just wanted to say hi. I got a friend in northern Mississippi that listens to you regularly, Susie Q. So, anyhow, let me just say, first of all, I wanted to make a comment on what you guys just said regarding the economy. But, Alex, I'd like to make a request. Would you please have Dr. Deagle on sometime in the near future to discuss?
All right, you got to make your point, sir. I go ahead and make your point.
Okay, well, the point I wanted to make is I completely disagree with what you guys just said, that we're going to get this country back. Literally, that would take a miracle. That's not going to be us. It's going to be a miracle. There is a course that's been set. You actually have been a proponent of that. You've been speaking about it. And so we don't just have some miraculous turnaround.
Wow. This is a really defeatist phone call here, Jack.
No, it's not a defeatist phone call. It's what it is it's a realistic phone call, and a lot of it is based on the data that you've passed in the past. So, I mean, when you pass data to us and tell us that, basically we're in an enormous amount of trouble, which is true, we can see that, and then in the next breath to say we're going to win this thing, we're not. But we
listen. You got the wrong show then, bro. Okay, you've got the wrong radio show. Since we're not going to beat anything, go out and party and have a great time. Okay, you got the wrong show. The climate gate is devastating, and Copenhagen is going to fail. They're still going to try to implement all this at the grassroots level. We've got to go out with a winning attitude and engage these people at the local level and take our communities back by standing up against them. The Federal Reserve. We just pointed out all the stuff they're going to try to pull on us. But the beginning of the end is happening for them. And, I mean, I just don't even know what to say where I'm bad for saying we can win this thing. This is a process. It's not going to happen overnight, but we have to reach out to people. We've got to get involved. And I know history, and I know the situation we're facing, and I know we've got a chance to reverse this. Bob, I want to get your take on that call when we come back. People don't understand what attitude is about, and initiative, and knowing we're in the right, and standing up and saying we're going to win. They don't understand warfare. They don't understand InfoWar. They don't understand we've got the truth. We've got the ultimate weapon on our side. They don't understand that the enemy is imploding at every level. Man, that makes me sick. Look, I'm going to get Bob's take on what we just heard. But first, I just want to say this. We have gotten into this position where we've been taken over, usurped by foreign offshore banks and corporations because we got an attitude that we're the biggest, we're the best, there's no corruption in government. I could just go play golf all day and never care about who's getting elected or never care about what's happening with special interest. I can just go to sleep. And I know that if we have that attitude, things are only going to get worse. We are having successes that are so giant. The spirit in this country and the world is shifting and awakening. I'm seeing it. Everywhere I go, in foreign countries, in other cities, masses of people come up to Alex Jones on the street and say, we're awake, we're fighting. And I'm just one guy. So you may not have a face they recognize, the caller from California, Dave. And so you may think that, that I'm blowing smoke. And you may see decadent, soulless people around you who aren't awake and think we're doomed. I know we're in a lot better position than we were a year ago, 2 years ago, 10 years ago. Bob Chapman's been doing this for almost 50 years. Okay, he's an icon in fighting the New World Order, and he doesn't have a loser attitude. And I'm not calling you a loser, sir, but I don't need to be rebuked for getting up here and saying things are really bad, these people are really bad. That's like if your house is on fire and I go call the fire department, it's on fire. I'm not being negative, I'm telling you the truth. But the fire department pulled up. They put out fires in a couple rooms. Looks like we're going to be able to save the house. If you'll stop telling the firemen to stand down. Okay, now, they told the founding fathers they couldn't win. They've told everybody they couldn't win. They've told inventors they couldn't invent things. It is an attitude, a loser attitude that we have going on here that we've got to rout out. We have to go look at these criminals in government, beat the drum that they're criminals, expose their system, and they will fall because they've triggered criminal operations that are going to hurt people financially. And so even lazy, decadent people are now looking for the truth and rubbing the sleep out of their eyes and getting awake and getting involved. And it is a lie to say that there's no way to stand up against this or to stop this. Look at what's happening. Every time we stand up, we win. The problem is most of the time people don't stand up because they don't have any respect for themselves in this fight. Bob Chapman.
Well, I agree, but I think it's good to have the dialogue and have the other side. Like the gentleman said, I don't believe it. I don't think it's going to work. He understands the problem. He said he did. And his take, you've said, is incorrect. I agree with you, and it is incorrect. And the key word, and you mentioned it just a minute or two ago, is we know what the problem is, and we have to have the spirit of American citizens in our country, and we have to go forward and stop these people. And better, we should go forward and be defeated than not go forward at all and just give up and give these people world government and world tyranny, and we become vassals of some vast state. We've got to stop them here, and we've got to make sure they don't do it again. And that spirit, it's just like a sports team goes out, they're going to have interaction with another team, no matter what the sport, and you all talk together and say, look, we know these other guys or these other gals are really good, but we get the spirit, and we really want to win this game, and we're going to do it.
And then you look at the fact that the globalists are a bunch of pot-bellied, wicked, corrupt people. Sure, they've got the money and the power, but it's all fraudulent. If you really look at the strength of the people, we're like 1 million feet tall, weigh 6 trillion pounds, and they're a 125-pound pot-bellied goblin that's gotten up there full of arrogance and chutzpah or whatever and beat its chest and told us we're beaten, told us that we can't win. I mean, when they were dropping A-bombs on Tokyo or on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the Imperial Japanese were broadcasting we'd lost the war. It's like Baghdad Bob getting up there and saying that the U.S. had lost as explosions were going off behind him. It's a crock of baloney. We'll be right back.